Hi everyone, thanks for logging on to My Fox Hurricane. I'm meteorologist Valerie Mills, tracking two areas in the Atlantic Basin. We have Hurricane Humberto that has really been able to capitalize on the environment and strengthen, talking about a major hurricane over the next couple of days as that continues to approach the island of Bermuda into the start of this upcoming work week. And then we are tracking potential tropical cyclone 9. This is on its way to becoming Imelda, our next named storm of the season. And so these two areas are actually going to be very close together as we get to the next couple of days. You see our model consensus here through the weekend and into the start of Monday in really good agreement. We're going to be watching PTC 9, future Imelda, really move right over the Bahamas, parallel up the east coast of Florida. Meanwhile, we're going to be tracking Humberto, which kind of rides up and around the ridge of high pressure, making a very close pass to the island of Bermuda before curving back out to sea. But Humberto could overall impact future Imelda, as you see the models are rather split. Some have been taking it inland, making that landfall along portions of South Carolina, near the coast of Georgia. We have been seeing some of those indications as of our morning runs, but then we do have a lot of model consensus that slows it down, stalls it out, and even in some cases curves it back out to sea, as the steering with this system could collapse, as we're tracking these two systems to be very close together here in the next couple of days. As for where PTC 9 is right now, it's about 170 miles northwest of the eastern tip of Cuba. We have tropical storm warnings up for the Bahamas as that moves right overhead, likely becoming a tropical storm Saturday, if not on Sunday. You see the sustained winds 35 miles per hour. We are just shy of tropical storm territory. Once we get the sustained winds up to 39 miles per hour, that then will become our next named storm of the season. And you see the forecast calling for that as it tracks right up the east coast of Florida as a tropical storm through Sunday and Monday. There is the forecast calling for this to reach Category 1 hurricane strength as it approaches the coastline there of South Carolina. You see Georgia as well as up into North Carolina on the outskirts of where this cone is. Then things get a little funky for the middle part of the week. As I mentioned to you, the steering collapses, and so the system slows down quite a bit, and in some cases we could watch it kind of take that curve back out in the Atlantic. But either way, we are watching for quite a few impacts as far as the rain that is going to come with this system. The good news is that the tropical storm force winds and the main energy with this system, it's going to stay well offshore. Impacts will move through the Bahamas as it will continue to strengthen, but you see the wind field, it just scrapes right up the coastline there, and then we get closer to Georgia and South Carolina come Monday and Tuesday. That's where we will be watching for really impacts as far as the heavy rain, especially if it takes the scenario where it kind of stalls out and slows down right off the coast. You see all of that tropical potential and that moisture that moves, even in some cases, pretty far inland. So we'll really be watching Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina for the potential for those rain bands to bring a little bit more rain. And that has been overall the consensus the last couple of days. And so as we look at our rainfall accumulation that runs through this week, we could be talking impacts even inland, especially if it takes the scenario of slowing down close to the coast and allowing for that fetch of tropical moisture for the coast and even our inland spots where, look at this bright yellow color. I mean, we're talking 7+ inches of rain to be possible, up to the 10-inch range mark. So we'll be closely watching that, fine-tuning the details, as Hurricane Humberto actually is playing a role in that track. The closer those two storms are able to get to each other, that's going to offer up the potential for those wind fields to interact with each other and cause the steering in some cases to curve it back out to sea. So we'll continue to watch that very closely. As for Hurricane Humberto, 145 mile per hour sustained winds. This is on his way to becoming a Category 5 hurricane. Very favorable environmental conditions, and so you see it continuing to kind of curve right around the ridge of high pressure. There's the island of Bermuda. And so at this point, we're looking at Tuesday into early Wednesday for this to pass by the island. At this point, the forecast is still calling for a major hurricane as it passes nearby. Then by Thursday and at the end of the week, curves out to sea and starts to die out just a little bit. So other than these two areas, no really impacts expected here for our Tampa Bay spots. We'll be watching portions of the southeast for impacts from these systems in the coming days with more updates to come right here on My Fox Hurricane.